Hi, my love. Welcome back to the Goddess Yoga Podcast. This episode is your next step, your next portal, your next becoming. In our last episode, we stepped into the energy of romantasy. We explored what it feels like to live inside magic, beauty, devotion, and desire. But today, we're doing something deeper. Today, you are not just imagining her, you are choosing her. Here's the truth most people don't realize. You are not finding your highest self. You are not finding the best version of yourself. You are not finding this thing that is outside of yourself. You are deciding internally and externally who she is, and then becoming devoted to her. Becoming devoted to the woman that you are wanting to become, devoted to the bigger picture of what your life could potentially look like for you, devoting yourself every single day to becoming the most amazing goddess version of yourself, because that is what you deserve. So in this episode, I'm going to guide you through choosing your new identity, embodying her energetics, rewiring your patterns, and stepping into your next level self. This is your becoming. Hello, beautiful angels. I am so excited to be sitting here today going over this podcast with you. I was thinking for a long time about what the next idea would be, what would follow up with the romantasy episode, and this just became a really beautiful idea that was inspired by a beautiful podcast that I came across earlier today. It was the Soul in Progress Mini 333, the most effective way to create long-lasting confidence episode by Skinny Dipping. So I will be sure to link this episode below. I listened to that today and it really inspired this whole entire episode. So thank you so much, Girly Pop, because a lot of the next level self conversation is really tied into romantasy and how it can inspire your next level version of yourself by living whimsically, living romantically. And so I thought that would be a great follow-up for the previous episode. If you have not had a chance to listen to the romantasy episode, I highly suggest you do, and I will also link that below as well. I think that that is a great little dose of whimsy if you really need something to bring you up in your life and to give you that little whimsical touch that you can have in your day, and then you learn some things and you can apply some things throughout your life, throughout your day, and throughout your schedule that you can take with you and kind of have a whimsical romantasy life or a whimsical romantasy experience. So with that, let's get into this podcast. Super excited to go over everything today. And I set aside some time before recording to connect with the universe, to connect with the goddess. And I asked to pull 2 oracle cards that they wanted to highlight within this episode. I am reading from the Dark Light Oracle deck by Alexandra V. Bach and Carol Ann Eskenazi. So sorry if I did not say or pronounce those names correctly, but it is a beautiful deck. I highly recommend. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It came to me at a time that I really needed it, and that really resonates with me. The first card that we pulled was Guardian Angel with a number 27, and underneath it says, "Count on my protections. If you hear any rustling, that is probably me with the booklet or me with my cards. So sorry if that bothers you." Here is the message. You do not need to be afraid in any circumstances. I am your guardian angel, and I am taking good care of you. You've called for my protection, and here I am to provide it. Nothing can harm you. No one can hurt you. My inspired guidance will always surround your steps. You will never walk alone. So stand tall, my precious. Move forward. Keep a fearless heart, and have confidence. You will get through this. You are protected. You are blessed. Do not trust the fog of your pain. After the rain, the sun will come again. I will see to it. And the key words are protection, inspiration, sweet angel, strength to rely on, divine connection, and guidance. And the affirmation is, I am protected wherever I go. I am never alone. My guardian angel is watching over me and keeps me safe in any circumstances. I thought that this was really fitting for what we're talking about in the discussion with this podcast today. And, back to our conversation a little bit earlier in the beginning of the podcast where I was talking about not really knowing what to record. I have kind of been in this new chapter of my life that I've never been before. And some of you may feel the same, some of you may be in a similar position, and it really has been a big ego death for me, and it's beautiful, but it's also bittersweet, and it's also painful. So we appreciate both aspects of the life changes, right? And we move forward. But I think with this guardian angel, it's really coming to me that there may be other people that are in the same position, and instead of me not talking about what's pressing for me and what's going on in my life throughout my podcast, maybe incorporating my own personal life will help other people or allow other people to not feel as alone and that they have support. Because here at this podcast, we have a aligned community where we are like-minded and we support one another, and we want each other to be the best versions of ourselves, and we support and encourage each other alongside that journey, because that is so important this day and age. I think that this is also really calling that there is divine protection around you and that you will never walk alone. So stand tall and move forward. Even if you have a painful experience that you're going through or a life-changing, altering experience that you're going through, you are blessed. So remember that. And do not trust the fog of the pain that you are in, because that is not actually real. And after the rain, the sun will come again. So trust that, trust in something outside of yourself, trust that good things are happening to you, even if it doesn't look that way in the moment, especially with this, like standing tall and choosing a new life and choosing a new identity and choosing a new version of yourself that you feel calls you more than your current reality does. So that was that card. The next one was Threshold, which is number 1. Angel numbers here, 111, 11, 11, 27. It could be another angel number, so if that isn't one of your signs. Underneath the threshold, it says, shall you dare? And sure, cold and frightening. Facing the unknown is not always easy, and your fear is legitimate. Yet the only way to know the unknown is to experience it. You have to push this door. You have to cross this threshold. Move forward and wear your head high. Something better and greater than you think awaits you on the other side. All you have to do is overcome this fear of yours and walk through with confidence and willpower. You're about to discover a whole new territory in which many presents are to be found. But you cannot expect to find them if you just stay put and hesitate. So grab your holy sword and cross the threshold. Keywords: new beginning, facing inner fears, crossing something new, discovering the unknown. And the affirmation is, I'm ready to plunge into the unknown to cross that threshold. For I know that a great adventure awaits me on the other side of fear. Beautiful, beautiful messages. Very much aligned with the conversation today. Fear. That is definitely something that can really limit us and put us in a cage and trap us in this identity or personality or habits or routines that you feel like you can't break, or you can't shake, or you can't change because you are set in your ways and it's a patterned thing. But here's the reality. You can. And that is something that you should do, actually. If you feel like there's certain things in your habits, personality, routine that you don't feel like fit you anymore, it's okay to rewrite it. You don't have to be that person forever. You know what I mean? If that makes you unhappy, you don't have to do it. That's the beautiful thing about life and having autonomy. So you don't have to, actually. So anyway, thank you so much, Goddess and Universe, for those cards to be pulled for this reading. I think that that will be very fitting for the rest of this podcast. And we're going to go ahead and get into the first segment. Segment 1. The truth about identity. Carrying on a little bit from our conversation right before we got into the segment 1, but let's start with something that might shift everything for you, okay? So going back to that conversation, your personality, your habits, your current life. Now is the time that I kind of want you to just like a very quick little overview of like your day-to-day routine, okay? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? How are you spending your mornings? How are you spending your afternoons? How are you spending your evenings? And the weekdays and the weekends? How often do you take care of yourself in terms of like skincare and oral care and eating healthy and working out and moving your body? Could you be doing better? Could you be doing more? Could you add more to your plate? Could you take away things that aren't really benefiting you anymore and replace them with other things? Let's start to look at that. Let's start to think about that and get into that mindset, because none of this is fixed. It is patterned, it is practiced, it is reinforced, which means it can be rewritten. I've been having a hard time saying rewritten. But anyway, the download that I got actually for a song, when I said that statement, it can be rewritten, unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. And I'm going to read some of the lyrics, okay? So I feel like this is a very on-brand song for this podcast. I am unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined, I'm just beginning, the pen is in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. From that, okay, this is so fitting and on brand for what we're talking about, because you have a blank page. Like, you do not need to live the same routine in life, and if it's not serving you, if it's not benefiting you, if it's not uplifting you or making you feel like your best, highest level version of yourself, because you could be doing things already that make you feel that way. And if you are amazing, beautiful, that's what you should be doing. But for the others of us that have routines that we're not really feeling like we are vibing with it, it's maybe we're doing things that don't really benefit us that much and we need to replace it with something better. Like I mentioned earlier, it can be rewritten. We're not set in this way. So you have a blank page before you and only you can write it. Only you can put it down on paper. Only you can change it. Only you can be the version of yourself that you want to be. Nobody else can show up for you in that way. You have to be the one that takes charge and takes hold and writes the story, writes your life, writes your routines. Most people are unconsciously living out a character that they created in survival. This is something that's coming up for me in my life. Now that I'm in this new place, I'm realizing a lot of parts of myself that were written in survival that just don't apply anymore. And what does my life look like? Who am I outside of that? That has been a whole new thing that has presented, oh my God, so much fear. And if you're on the same boat, girl, me too. It has really presented itself in a way that is very beautifully destructive. That's the best way I could say it, because it's awesome, because you're creating and redefining things in your own life and rewriting things for yourself. But at the same time, you still had these experiences that maybe hurt you or traumatized you or affected you in a negative way. But there was so much beauty that was from that, and this is the beautiful part. And dark and the light together is a very powerful force to be all-encompassing of understanding the dark and the light aspects of what happens and just accepting it in ways. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, the survival version. With that conversation, a version of this can be shaped by family dynamics, fear, conditioning, past wounds. But you, me, the collective, we are all waking up. And when you wake up, you realize you don't have to keep being this version of you. You can choose again. You can choose new. You can choose different. If your whole entire family didn't want to do something, you can decide, hey, I have actually wanted to do this thing my whole entire life. I'm going to do it. Despite, my family not wanting to do it, I'm going to do it. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. The autonomy of being able to have that choice and make that choice. You can be a new version of yourself, despite what everybody else has taught you, despite what everybody else can say about it, despite what everybody else has an opinion on. It is not their life, so you can choose whatever you want. This is where your power lives, okay? The choice, having the choice, being able to have that choice. On the conversation of choice, we're going to move into segment 2, which is choosing your new character. This is the exciting part. Bit of an overview of your current life, your current routines, your current self. If you have not had a chance to do that, I will give you a tiny bit of time now to go ahead and do that. Or you can pause this podcast too. If you want to journal any of this unprompted, even more brownie points there. We're going to go into choosing your new character. Okay, so I want you to imagine for a moment, if your life was a romantasy story, who would you be? Not the watered down version of it. No, not the realistic version, but the fully expressed, powerful, magnetic, divine version of you. And I say romantasy because I want you to romanticize the fuck out of it, okay? I want you to romanticize and have this like fantasy of this highest version of yourself, like thinking big, thinking large, okay? So that is why I tied it into this theme, all right? So ask yourself, how does she walk into a room? What does she tolerate? And what does she no longer accept? How does she take care of her body? What kind of love does she experience? What kind of life does she require? And it is okay if you really look at your life and you're like, I am not showing up the way I really want to. And if I were to ask myself how I would show up, it would be a completely different version of myself. That's okay. In fact, I encourage that. And I don't want you to put huge goals that are unattainable for you to accomplish, that it's this never-ending loop of I'm never enough because I can never be this version of myself. Like, that is not what I'm promoting. But what I am talking about is how can you get there? Very quick next level shifts. For instance, if it's important to you and your next level self to be more organized and more cleanly, the very quick next level self step for that would be taking time out of your day to do small little cleaning things. After you use your kitchen, wash the dishes that you used. After you get out of bed, make your bed. After you get out of the shower, start putting your clothes in a hamper instead of on the floor. Put your clothes away in the closet after you're done wearing them. Little things like this, little tiny little rituals that you maybe are not doing that add to having an uncleanly home. And you can start by making those adjustments and those shifts and those changes. And then sure enough, you will be living the version of yourself that has cleanliness and is organized. It's just a little example. But that's what I'm talking about. So it is totally 100% valid and okay if you feel like it is way beyond yourself and you don't even know where to begin. But this is why this podcast is so important, because I'm going to teach you how to start today. Because here is the key. That version of yourself, the one that you may be afraid of becoming, the one that you may be really passionate about becoming, the one that you may be in knowing that that is who you are meant to be, she already exists. You are not making her up. You are not creating this version of yourself that isn't real. You are remembering her. You are choosing to remember who you are innately, who you've always been, despite your background, despite your upbringing, despite your childhood experiences. You have always been this version of yourself, and there's a reason that you were called to be this version. There's a reason why you listen to this podcast. There's a reason why this is calling to you, okay? So with the call, let's answer it by giving her an identity. This can be a name, a title, an energy. Some examples could be the devoted muse, the soft power goddess, or just goddess, the untouchable feminine, the embodied priestess, the woman who is chosen daily. You know, fit in whatever you need that is your goals, that aligns with you and that version of yourself. This is a good meditation moment as well to like really meditate on like that name or that energy or like what it is that you are seeking. Another journal unprompt moment here where you can really write about what you feel about this, but let it feel activating. Let it feel a little intimidating, like let it feel big, right? Like I said, romantasy, we are going big, okay? We are dreaming big, right? So let it be intimidating. Please, I encourage it to be intimidating. I encourage it to make you check yourself a little bit to be like, oh, I want to go big. Yes, and I want you to even go bigger. It's not a stretch of who you are. It is who you are, and it's who you're deciding to show up as, who you're feeling called to show up as. So now I'm actually going to be giving some journal prompts here in segment 3. So I did give a couple of not intentional, unprompted journal prompts, but today I actually have journal prompts. So grab your journal or come back to this later or write this in your notes or whatever it is to keep this on top of mind for you to come back to, okay? But these are your activation prompts. Number 1, who is my highest self in full detail? And I want you to describe her like a character in a book, okay? I want you to get descriptive. You can get as descriptive as your dream house. If you want to have a certain house that's like, this is my dream level self is in this house, explain the environment descriptively. Describe describe the way that you look, describe your outfits, describe your hobbies, describe your day-to-day. So the second one is, what does she no longer do? And be honest, because this is where growth is showing up. And don't feel embarrassed or ashamed. This is about showing you where your capacity can grow and where you have gotten so far. And that's a beautiful and amazing place to be. But we're going to take it a little bit further, and we're going to go a little bit harder, and we're going to be better. 1% better every day. That's beautiful. Number 3, what are her non-negotiables? In love, in lifestyle, in energy, in boundaries, okay? Non-negotiables. This is very important. I feel like we talk a lot about non-negotiables here on this podcast as well, because that's a very important thing, and boundaries are very important, another thing we talk a lot about. But like lifestyle, what came to me was the cleaning comment that I made earlier. If like you really want to have a clean lifestyle, it could be food wise as well, but like if that's who you want to be, then don't go to McDonald's every day, don't eat out all the time, make sure that you're making your own food. Like if that's something that you really want as a part of your next level version of yourself, like all of that can go there. Number 4, how does she spend a normal day? From morning to night. This is super important. I want you to create, how do you spend a work day? How do you spend a weekend? Number 5, what beliefs does she hold about herself? What feels normal to her that doesn't feel normal to you yet? So this could be something that you're trying to achieve. If you've been listening to affirmations or subliminals that are about specific things that you're calling into your life, or you have manifestations that you are trying to call into your life, what feels normal to her? So, for instance, if you are attracting love, if you really want love, if you want healthy love, inside, outside, all the things, what beliefs does she hold about herself? A belief could be, I deserve healthy love. I attract healthy love. It may be not normal to you to feel like that is actually your lived experience if you actually don't feel like that's something that you are currently living, but it is normal to your next level version of yourself, because your next level version of yourself is in the most amazing, healthy relationship with her soulmate, and she's extremely happy and in love with her life and in love with her relationship. It starts with the belief of, I believe I deserve love, I deserve healthy love, I attract healthy love. So number 6, what identity do I need to release to become her? This one is very powerful because you currently have an identity, and the fear of who this new version of yourself is may clash with the current identity of who you are, and this could bring an ego death, which a lot of people tend to try to avoid. But we here encourage ego deaths because that means you are one step closer to becoming your true self. What do you need to release? If you're drinking a lot and you don't find that that's really suiting for you anymore, maybe your identity is don't drink as much, or you don't drink at all, or you change the places you hang out because it's just not fitting for you. You change your identity. Maybe instead of like going out to the bars every Friday night, you want to go to a hot yoga class in the evening and then go get sushi with your friends and then go home and enjoy your night. Shift the identity. What do you need to release to become her? Number 7, the last journal prompt. If I fully became her, what would change in my life within 30 days? Let yourself see it. List out all the benefits. This could be keywords, this could be whole sentences, as long as you get out the message that you need to get out. But if you fully became her, what would change in your life? You'd probably be happier, probably be glowing, probably be extremely on fire for life and for yourself and loving yourself. Ooh, did I say that? I did. I did. Okay, now that we have done a lot of visionary work and writing what it all means to us, we're going to ground this into real transformation. So in this next segment, segment 4, we're going to be talking about our high-level self-work. Because becoming her is not just an aesthetic. This isn't just like a little fling, right? This is a lifetime commitment. It is an energetic integration, okay? It is energetic integrity, all right? It is who you are, becoming who you are. It is self-devotion. It is alignment. Here is what that looks like. Identity-based decisions. So start asking, what would she do in this situation? Not from pressure, but from devotion. So when you have a decision that you have to make, start asking yourself, what would that next level version of myself that I just journaled about? What would she do? How would she do this? How would she behave? How would she respond to this? How would she hold herself in this circumstance? Okay? Don't pressure yourself, but it's from a devotional point, right? We're devoting to ourselves. We're devoting to the goddess within, ladies, okay? Number 2, nervous system expansion. Your body might resist this new identity, which we have talked about, especially with fear. Let that happen, because that's normal. Growth can feel unfamiliar. Instead of pulling back, breathe through it. Let it expand you. And I really highlight the journal prompts because anytime you have a fear of this new life or this new identity, I want you to look at that journal prompt and that version of yourself that you wrote down. And I want you to get your fear and I want you to look at that and be like, I can push through and persevere. It is okay. And as I'm reading this journal prompt here, this is inspiring me again because I remember why I put this down. I remember the devotion. I remember the why, my why, who I'm becoming. So breathe through it, let it expand you. The fear is showing you the things that are limiting you, but the beautiful thing about limitations is that you can decide they don't limit you anymore. Even if they still feel limiting, you can work through that. You can breathe through that. Don't put pressure on yourself if that happens as well, okay? Okay, so number 3, micro embodiments. You don't become her overnight. This isn't just like, okay, I decided, I wrote all this stuff down, and now I'm going to be her tomorrow. No. And then you're like, oh, why don't I look like her already? I said I wanted a 6-pack, and I've been working out for a week. Why don't I have a 6-pack? That's not what we're talking about. You become her in moments. It becomes part of every single little thread of the day. You thread this new identity into your life, moment by moment, decision by decision. You become her in the way you respond instead of react, the way you hold your posture, the way you speak about yourself. This is all a part of micro embodiment. Number 4, releasing old patterns. You cannot carry old versions of yourself into this new identity. Some things will need to fall away, and that's okay, all right? So this could be anything, really. It could be people that you hang out with. It could be habits. It could be thought patterns. Not from force, but from evolution. So we're not forcing all this change. It's not like a huge tower moment in our lives. It could be. It could lead to that, but it doesn't have to be like that. This could be something that could help evolve you and could help further push you into the unknown of becoming the best version of yourself, the happiest version of yourself, because you're devoted to yourself. And obviously, if you're devoted to yourself, you're going to be happy. One old pattern that is coming up for me, and I could use as an example in this podcast, but I struggle with this, is negative thoughts about body image. And my next level version of myself loves her body, and she cares for her body, and she does not tear her body apart, and she does not think poorly of herself. So I need to work on releasing the old pattern of bullying myself in that way. Maybe you have this as well. Maybe you struggle with this, but that is something for me that I cannot carry into my new identity. That is not something that resonates with the new version of myself. But we're going to move into an embodiment activation with our 5th segment. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. And see her, your highest self, standing right in front of you. She's calm, she's radiant, she's powerful without trying. And she's super confident, by the way. Now imagine stepping into her body, seeing through her eyes, feeling through her heart. You are her. Not someday, not when everything is perfect, but right now. Anchor that feeling, because this is your new baseline. This is your new identity. This is who you've always been, and this is who you're becoming. I will have a link below for the journal prompts if you would like to print it out yourself and write on the little goddess yoga journal prompt PDF. If that fancies you, you can go ahead and grab that in the link below of this podcast. Thank you so much for downloading if you do so, and I would love, 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 love to see your answers or to talk about this with you. So if you would also like to DM me your character name that you created from this episode, I would be so ecstatic to read it, to talk about it with you, to go over this beautiful new adventure with you. And I'm so excited to continue with the Romantasy episode and vibes and to grow with you all lovely, lovely goddesses. As we are closing this episode out, I want you to remember a couple of things. Your life is not something that is happening to you. It is something you are creating every single moment of the day. And the most powerful thing you can ever do is choose who you are. So, choose her. Choose her now. Choose her again tomorrow. Choose her in the small moments, because that is how she becomes real. I love you so, so much, and I can't wait to talk about more in the next episode. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah.